So Unreal Engine 5 is the future of AAA games, the future of where we are going to see a massive jump in the technology, in the graphics fidelity of these newer games that are coming out that are being developed within this engine. Some of the stuff we've seen so far has been just spectacular, especially if you looked at the Matrix demo that came out. That was just mind-blowing. Although it was just a world you could walk around in and explore and just kind of look at the scenery, it was very impressive, and it was running very well on both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which again was another big thing. The fact that it was able to run on hardware like the Series S with the fidelity that it was at made everyone excited for what was to come out of Unreal Engine 5. Now, we know Xbox is working on a number of projects from Unreal Engine 5, using that as the development base for the game. One of the big games that is utilizing Unreal Engine 5 is going to be Perfect Dark. Now, Perfect Dark was announced in 2020. Been about 3 years since we got that announcement, and people are waiting to see more about this game. Are we going to see more at the June showcase for Xbox? Maybe get our first glimpse of some gameplay, maybe more of a story trailer, something along those lines. People want to see more of Perfect Dark, myself included. There's been a ton of development stuff that has happened with it, with the initiative now working with Crystal Dynamics, Daryl Gallagher coming in, kind of putting his foot down and taking the initiative, the studio, in that direction of going ahead and working with Crystal Dynamics rather than sitting back and continuously listening to everybody's opinions on what they wanted to do and where they wanted this game to go. And I think that was a good decision. One of the things with Xbox Game Studios is, from an outsider's perspective, somebody who doesn't work there, somebody who doesn't know what's actually going on within those studios, it almost seems like there isn't enough leadership to make decisions and get games going in a direction, for better or for worse, to make sure that games do have that content available, to make sure that games are coming out finished, all of that type of stuff. And with Perfect Dark, it seems like it is going in that way, and that this is a game I have high hopes for in terms of being released with great content, being released without too many bugs, and being released at all of the specifications that people want, like the 60 frames per second. And they are building this game in Unreal Engine 5. And one of the coolest things that they are going to be utilizing is MetaHuman for realistic looking character faces. So it says here, the initiative's Perfect Dark will take advantage of Unreal Engine 5's MetaHuman to deliver realistic looking character faces. According to the LinkedIn profile of the principal technical animator at the initiative, Tyler Thornock, the studio will utilize Unreal Engine 5's MetaHuman technology to create realistic looking character faces in its forthcoming title. Thornock is involved in the development of the Maya tool pipeline for animation, rigging, and character arc, and he has worked to integrate MetaHuman faces into the pipeline and push the main body deformation with extra focus given to hands. He has also collaborated with the engineering team from Humane on the development of streamlined and properly interpolating RBF for Unreal Engine. And obviously here they talk about the focus given to hands, having very realistic hands in the game, because it's going to be a first-person shooter, you would assume, where you're going to be seeing hands a lot holding the weapons, and they want that to be a focus. Besides Perfect Dark, this technical animator has worked on Dragon Age 4, which is coming out, and we saw a leaked gameplay of that, kind of looks more action-based. Anthem, which I thought was an amazing looking game, although that game didn't be successful, it didn't continue to last. Not enough people played it. I thought there was a ton of potential in Anthem, and it looked really good. Last of Us Part 2, obviously, incredible graphics. Uncharted 4, Thieves End, again, incredible graphics. Last of Us, if you remember that game when it came out onto the PS3, came out at the end of the PlayStation 3 life cycle, and you would be blown away. You wouldn't be thinking that that was a PS3 game with how good that looked. And then again, Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, and Conan. So this person has a ton of experience working on some of the best looking games on whatever generation that they got released on, and now pushing for MetaHuman with Unreal Engine 5 to be utilized within Perfect Dark, which is extremely exciting, because I took a look at what MetaHuman does, and essentially it's just a program that makes it extremely streamlined and easier to get very lifelike looking characters And if you watch this video, I will have a link in the description below that kind of go over some of the stuff you can do. But you can just see right here as they're going through the character builder, almost seems like it's one of those character builders that you have directly within a video game as the player, where you're just able to change up their hair, change up their body type, change up the structure of their face. Are they aging? All of those types of things. But what makes it incredible is here you see like their eye movements and all of the shading and how they realistic these characters are looking and coming out. I think the future of AAA gaming, especially with tools like this, which is seemingly taking a bit of the load off of the actual developers themselves to be able to use tools that are easy. You can see all of the sliders, all of the stuff. Like, I feel like I could go in there, play around with this, and come up with something, come up with a realistic looking character. I think this is going to have a huge effect on how games play and how games look, and take off, again, some of that development pressure, which is seemingly plaguing a lot of big AAA games coming out right now, especially with optimization, with bugs, with delays, all that type of stuff. Easier to use programs like this, which give just insanely realistic looking characters, will help out a lot. Unreal Engine 5, to me, is sounding and looking like it's going to be finally that big jump that a lot of people have been waiting for. You take a look at the games coming out on the Xbox Series XS, on the PlayStation 5, you compare them to games that came out on the PS4 and on the Xbox One. There is a difference. The games do look better, but it is not that mind-blowing, awe-inspiring jump that we saw from previous generational jumps. Like, for example, when we went from the original Xbox to the Xbox 360, to me that was a massive jump. It was night and day from the games that we got on the OG Xbox to the 360. I always have the story of seeing Fight Night on a kiosk before the 360 was coming out, or just around its launch, and being absolutely blown away at the graphical fidelity on the 360 compared to the previous consoles. It really made you feel like you were in the future of gaming. And since that generational jump, because even the generation before that, PS1, PS2, was a massive jump, but since that era of gaming, I haven't really ever felt like the jump from one generation to the next has been just so significantly big that you don't even compare it at all. Can't even compare it to the previous generation. And maybe Unreal Engine 5, more games utilizing a bunch of these features that they're implementing, makes it easier on the developers, gives these really insanely high fidelity characters and graphics, will be that next jump that will get people sitting there saying, we are finally here in the next generation, the new generation of gaming. And Perfect Dark and the initiative working with Crystal Dynamics, utilizing these tools, I think is a very smart thing, is a good thing, and has me even more excited now for Perfect Dark, how it's going to look. And I can't wait to see. And fingers are crossed that we see something on this game soon. But I'm going to leave the video there, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you want to see out of Perfect Dark? Do you expect this to be just an insanely next generation game that is one of the best looking games that we've gotten on the Xbox Series X and S? Do you think we're going to see anything from it at the Xbox June showcase? If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Thank you.